Hey y'all, what's going on? So it is October 26th and it's pretty cold outside. Great day to go deer hunting, except for all of our stands are not meant for the wind that it is. Today it's a southeast wind and none of our stands are good for an east wind, and they're not great for a south wind. So decided I would sleep in a little bit and make a few videos. And so today I wanted to talk a little bit about a video that Michael Waddell posted, I don't know, it was a week or a couple weeks ago, something like that. And it was about a 7-minute long video of him kind of sitting in his dining room chit-chatting about hunting shows and how he's kind of fed up with it and things like that. Just as a disclaimer, I don't claim to know more than Michael Waddell or anything like that, and I don't know him personally. I've never met him. I used to watch some of his shows when I was younger, and I have no idea if he was, speaking from the heart. I think he was. It sounded like he was, or if he was just doing it for TV. Well, from watching the video, I've watched it a couple of times now, it looks like he's, really speaking from the heart, and he is kind of trying to help change the hunting industry for the better. So with that being said, I kind of wanted to just give my little reflection on it. I grew up watching some hunting shows and things like that, but as we got older, we kind of phased out of watching a lot of hunting shows for a lot of the reasons that he explains in the video. It's all about the kill, it's all about product placement, or they harvest a nice deer and next thing you know it's a deer with 8,000 products around it for the picture, and it's like, come on, that's not what hunting is about. Hunting is about enjoying the outdoors and being able to harvest food for your family that's healthy food and that you were able to obtain with your own hands, and it's about family and making memories and connecting with nature and things like that. And to kind of go off of that, being slightly involved with the outdoor industry like I am now, with a few other companies and helping them out, and with Blackbridge Outdoors here, product placement does happen. It's just the way, it's how you make money in this industry, with products and things like that. But at the same time, there's a way to do it that doesn't, highlight the product. I think a great example of that is, if any of you have ever seen the Yeti Presents. By the way, I'll link the Michael Waddell video down below, and I'll put the link to the Yeti Presents down below too. The Yeti Presents are kind of like a series of short films or videos about different people who are just passionate about their work in the outdoor industry. For some of it's bull riding, and some it's fishing, and some it's hunting and things like that. And if you watch them, they might have their cooler in there like once or twice, but that's it. It's not, a massive like Yeti. It's like there's maybe a picture of a cooler that they're using, and then other than that, it's it. It's about the story, it's about the people, and it's about how they connect with nature and how they're one with nature. And I love watching those, and I watch those more than I watch outdoor shows now. And I know our basic cable package doesn't include the outdoor channel anymore, and we decided not to pay for it because we only really wanted to watch one or two shows out there, and I can't remember what the names are, but they didn't focus on the kill. It was about the hunt and about the experience and about connecting with your friends and family and enjoying the outdoors for what it is, and not just, can I shoot the one hit list buck that we have, and you have the biggest buck you've ever seen walk in front of you, but you decide not to take it because they said you can't shoot that buck. And personally, to me, that's just crazy. If hunting is all subjective in terms of success. I've had some hunts where I've gone out and we'll shoot 2 ducks, and it was one of the most successful duck hunts I've had. And then there's other hunts where you go and you limit out on geese, and it's like, yeah, it was a great hunt, but like I've had fun on hunts where I've shot less. And I think I would agree with Michael about, it's not about the kill, it's about the experience, and it's about enjoying yourself, enjoying your time, and providing for your family. And I wrote a couple notes down here. So one point in the video, he talks about how when he was a kid growing up, he would watch guys like Mr. Kirby and things like that growing up, and how they made him feel like he could be just as good of a turkey hunter as they are. And that kind of reminded me, my dad, he's big into the turkey hunting industry, and he's a guide and things like that. And he was the same way. When he was growing up, nobody taught him how to turkey hunt. He learned it on his own. And the guys that he watched and the people whose magazine articles that he read, the DVDs he bought, were people who made him feel like he could be the best turkey hunter in the world. And it wasn't about the kill, it was about the experience and growing and learning and things like that. And I think that's essential, and I think that's why a lot of people have been turning to YouTube or to Facebook to watch hunting shows or learn about hunting instead of the major networks. And TV as a whole is dying anyway, but I think that people turn to YouTube, and they're successful YouTube hunters and they're successful Facebook hunters and things like that that are successful because they make it about the experience and the hunt and everything other than the kill, and they're just trying to help other people. Another point he talks about, it's not all about the hubbub. As an average Joe or an average hunter who can hunt a couple times on the weekend out of the year, or might get to take a day or two off of work during the rut, we don't care about necessarily what the latest and greatest product is. Yeah, they're nice to look at and they're nice to have, but at the end of the day, we have loans we have to pay back, we have kids, we have families. I'm still in college, but the average working man has 40 to plus hour work week, their family, their kids, and other responsibilities. And when they go hunting, they just want to go and enjoy themselves and relax and become one and reconnect with nature and be able to hopefully shoot a nice buck. But that's not the whole entire reason that they're out there. They're out there to enjoy their time there and not necessarily worry about, oh, I have to only shoot this buck because he's our only hit lister. And I think a lot of the TV shows, as Mr. Waddell was talking about in the videos, emphasize that and push that so much. And he talks about how everyone emphasizes you have to have this food plot and you can only shoot these deer and you have to have a sanctuary, and guys don't have that kind of money or that kind of land. It's just who we are. We're blue collar people, or maybe you have a white collar job or whatever. But hunting is a hobby. It's not a lifestyle for a lot of it, or it's not a life. It's not like your career. It's a lifestyle, but it's not your career. And you might make a little food plot, but if you don't make a food plot, that's fine. If you only can hunt 2 or 3 properties, that's fine. You still have just as good of a chance of being successful, and don't let anybody ever tell you that's not the case. He talks about ruining the viewing experience. I think that happens quite a bit in a lot of these shows, and that's why people stop watching them. Is it becomes more about the products, and every commercial is about only the products that they're using in the show, and then half the show is just product placement and talking about the products and not actually about hunting and the experience. And they'll show some clips at camp with dinner, and they'll show some clips of maybe processing the meat and things like that, but it's all about the kill. And if you talk to people who are on hunting shows and things like that, it's we need to get that kill, we need to get that kill. And I can't tell you how many times I used to watch a show and they wouldn't shoot the biggest deer they've ever seen, or a memorable turkey hunt, and they wouldn't shoot just because they couldn't get it on film. And that's not what it's about. It's about the experience. And if you want to harvest that 2-year-old buck that's a nice 8-point, go for it. If you want to wait for him next year to be a 10-point, go for it. But do what makes you happy, and don't necessarily do what the TV shows tell you should do. Okay. So this, just a couple more points. He talks about glamour shots and how big deer equals big viewers and things like that. And I'll be honest, guys, a lot of those shows, at least from what I've heard from people and what I've kind of read, they buy deer. They'll hunt 2,000 acres, call it a free-range hunt, but they'll buy 2 or 3, 150 class deer, put them on the property, watch them on trail cameras, and then they'll go sit in a stand. And that's not hunting. For the average guy, that's not what hunting is. Hunting is going out and, saying, okay, I own 60 acres and my buddy owns 30 acres. How can we best set stands up so that we can hunt between the two of them and have our best chance of success? So I think, kind of out of this video, I just wanted to, say that if you are, an average hunter or a weekend warrior, just like myself or, most of the guys that I know, just do your best. Do what makes you happy. If you're happy shooting a spike, shoot a spike. I've shot 4 or 5 spikes in my lifetime. I'm not ashamed of it. This year, if I get a nice 8-point, but he's not one of the 2 big bucks that we've seen on that property, I'm still going to shoot him because I know that buck is going to make me happy, and I'm going to enjoy the meat from him, and I'm still going to have an awesome time and an awesome experience. So don't let what other people are doing in the outdoor industry or what people tell you should do ruin what hunting is to you. Hunting to everybody is completely different. Some people, all they care about is that trophy, especially older guys. A lot of older guys, they just want to shoot that big buck. To them, that's fine. Even if you are an older guy and you just like going out and harvesting a deer and being able to come back and provide your family, that's great. That's awesome. You're still going to buy a hunting license. You're still for conservation. And if that's what makes you happy, then do it. Don't worry about if, Joe Schmo says you shouldn't shoot a 4-point. Shoot the 4-point if it makes you happy. If that's what you want to do and that's how you want to provide for your family and that's a buck you'll be happy and satisfied with and you're going to use the meat for, by all means, go for it. Don't listen to what other people tell you should or shouldn't do when you're hunting in terms of that. And, I think here at Blackbridge Outdoors, we just released the recovery film, and I tried to make the film about family and about our connection and our experience to the outdoors, and not as much about the kill of the deer. I wasn't with him on the hunt, so we couldn't get the hunt on film, but that's what it's about. Is family and connecting with the land and providing for yourself and conservation. And at the end of the day, hunting is a declining hobby, a declining sport. We're losing hunters every day and every year to more technology and to less opportunities to hunt and things like that. I'll put that in another video. And I think as hunters now and outdoorsmen and conservation, it's our job to make sure that we pass that on to younger generations. And joining conservation organizations like Ducks Unlimited, Whitetails Unlimited, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, they're Trout Unlimited. They're all fantastic. Delta Waterfowl, National Wildlife Federation. Sorry, they're all fantastic organizations with one goal in mind, and that's conserving what we have and advancing what we have in terms of land and opportunities to continue this passion that we have. And a lot of the big shot TV shows don't necessarily push that as much. They push the products that they're using. And I think that's part of why, Michael made the video, Mr. Waddell, to raise awareness of that in the hunting industry. And, obviously he has a great platform and a great stage to be able to do that on. And I'm happy he made that video. And, one of my big passions is conservation. And I'm not saying you have to be a super conservationist, but do everything you can to take a new kid hunting, or take somebody who's never been hunting, or somebody who got out of hunting just because, and bring them back into the sport. And remind there's a lot of people that don't like hunting or aren't big fans of hunting, and that's okay. You don't have to be, but you have to be respectful of it, and you have to understand it. And I think we have to remember that hunting is one of the greatest conservation experiments ever. I mean, where else? You can hunt other places in the world, but in the United States, hunting is one of the greatest conservation experiments ever. Through hunting, we're able to bring back species like the Canada goose, for example, was brought back through science and biology and conservation organizations, which are largely funded by hunters. And now they controlled limits and things like that, and now Canada geese are flourishing, at least in the Northeast they are. And so I kind of jumped all over the place in this video. Just wanted to give my quick little 2 cents on what I thought about Mr. Waddell's video. I think he did a good job with it. I think he is raising awareness to a great topic within the hunting industry, that is, that it's not about the kill and it's not about what you're using. It's about how you go through the experience, what the experience means to you, and what you can do to pass that on to somebody else. Tracy Bird wrote a song called, some people call it the Mossy Oak song, or Pass It On. I used it in the recovery video, gave him rights to it, so hopefully he won't sue me. And that song, I choke up every time I hear it, because that song is what it's all about. My dad and mom passed down hunting and fishing to my brother and I, and we're trying to pass it on to our friends and to people that we know, and eventually when we have kids, we'll pass it on to our kids and things like that. And so don't let the big takeaway is, don't let the big TV shows tell you what you can and can't do in terms of hunting. Hunting is different to everybody. Just be an ethical hunter. Do what makes you happy. Do it right. Support conservation and pass it on to the next generation. Because without the next generation, our entire sport is going to fall to pieces.